What is up, bro? So today we're going to be talking about how to meal prep for the entire week in only 1 hour. You might be thinking, how do you meal prep the entire week for only 1 hour? So I'm going to talk to you exactly how we do it. I'm going to talk about having ready-made foods and ingredients, and then also how to cook the entree staple meals so that you don't have to spend all day in the kitchen. So let's go off the structure of having 3 meals a day and a snack. So the meals we're actually going to prep for are, we're going to actually obviously prep for all of them, but lunch, breakfast and lunch, those are the meals we're actually going to cook on the spot, because honestly it only takes like 5 minutes to make those meals. So quickly I'll go over that. For breakfast, what you're going to have is you're going to have 4 eggs and maybe 200 grams of egg whites or a bunch of vegetables, and just cut down the eggs a little bit with some ketchup. That literally takes 5 seconds to whip up, right? It's not like it takes 30 minutes to cook up a nice breakfast. No, it takes 5 minutes to whip up in the morning. So we're going to do that then. And I say that because, well, yes, you could prep some frozen burritos the day before or the week before. Frozen burritos don't taste too good. So what you want to do is just cook it the day of. All right, just cook up those eggs, cook up those egg whites. But the fact that you're buying those eggs means that you're prepping, right? You're not just waiting for the day to come and then wondering, oh, I wonder what I'm going to eat today. No, you have the eggs in the fridge, so go make those eggs in the fridge. So that's what you're going to do. Then for lunch, what you're going to have is 5 minute easy ingredient meals. So what does that look like? We've got Greek yogurt. You don't have to cook it up, just put it in a bowl, 200 grams, 300 grams of that into the bowl, a scoop of protein powder, mix that around. You can add your creatine in there too. Boom, that's already half the meal done in literally 30 seconds. Then what you're going to do, add some frozen fruit or fresh fruit on top. 3-minute meal done, high protein, there you go. But how to actually prep the meals that you're gonna eat for dinner, or you can make a bunch of this into and make it for lunch. So what you're gonna do is, I call it the 2-in-1 process. And it's something, and I just made that up right now, but it's literally as simple as it sounds. So what you're gonna do, at the same time as you cook a meat, right, you get the meat going. Actually, no, what I was gonna say is, first you get the rice going, or you get the potatoes going, or whatever carb source, right? You turn on the pot, put the rice in, and cook that. It literally takes 30 minutes to cook rice, but only 2 minutes of actual active cooking, right? The other 28 minutes are you just watching the pot cook. So in those other 28 minutes, after you already put after you put the rice in and it's cooking on the pot, right? What you're gonna do is start cooking your meat, whether that's chicken, beef, whatever it may be, right? That's what actually takes a bit more time, especially if you're cooking in bulk. So what you're gonna get is a big pan. Find your biggest pan. Ideally it's one of those, like, ideally it's not non-stick, because obviously that's not good, because of all the chemicals and forever chemicals that are actually released while cooking and scraping it up. However, what you want to do is find maybe a ceramic or stainless steel super big pan, right? Metal pan, not some nonsense non-stick. So you cook that up, put in a bunch of ground beef. I recommend cooking up like a kg, maybe a kg and a half, if you can fit it into the pan, because what that's going to do is, just add your seasonings while the rice is already cooking, and there you go. That's the way your carbs are cooked while your meat is cooking, and then 30 minutes passes, that's all done. Just put it to the side. I recommend just putting them in containers and then putting maybe half in the fridge, or putting half into the freezer if you're not going to eat it all. Now, why do I say this is going to take you 1 hour a week? It's because you're going to do this 2 times a week. All right, so you're not just going to cook up like 30 minutes one time. Yes, you can if you don't need that many meals, but every 3 to 4 days, you are going to do this meal prep. All right, so 30 minutes twice a week, that equals to 1 hour. And then what about the other things? Other things that we should be utilizing to cut our cooking time down: frozen vegetables, frozen fruits, sauces. All of those do not take any prep work at all. So it's super easy just to throw on top. Super easy to throw on top. And just like that, you're gonna be fully prepped. So that's that. So let's recap. You got, for breakfast and lunch, I want you to buy kind of ready-made ingredients so you can just throw it together in 5 minutes in the morning or the day of, right? And if you need to bring a meal somewhere, then you can either cook it the night or prep it the night before, as in get your beef that you cooked, get your rice that you cooked, put it in a container, add some frozen vegetables, and then add some sauce on top and throw it in a the container and bring that to work. That literally takes 20 seconds in the morning that we can all do, or you can even do it in the day before. I know I worked a lot of morning shifts in my day when I had to wake up at like 5 a.m. Best believe I was not cooking in the morning. So all I did was just cook the night before, or not even cook, just prep the night before, put it in a container, and I was off to the races. So as simple as that. So that's your dinner's handled, and then for breakfast and lunch, just always have those ready-made ingredients on in your house so that you don't actually have to cook, you know, your Greek yogurt, your eggs, and then again, having a bunch of frozen vegetables and frozen fruits on deck is going to make it super, super beneficial. So that's all my tips. Any tips to improve your sleep schedule? Yes, I actually have so many tips. So the first thing I would say is, obviously I need to know a bit more about your situation. So feel free to drop more information in the comments. So first of all, have a set sleep schedule every single day, right? Wake up at the same time and sleep at the same time every single day. We all have a morning alarm. If you don't, I highly recommend hopping on one. Just waking up at the same time every single day is just gonna set your body and get your body into rhythm. So that's gonna be huge, but also doing the same thing in the evening. Have a bedtime alarm, because what that is going to do is actually get your body ready to bed. So you sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time. So, and then when you wake up in the morning, what I want you to do is actually go outside and get some sunlight into your eyes. And I'm not just saying like stand in front of the window like I am right now. Like open the window, stare towards the sun, not right at the sun, because that is obviously going to destroy your eyes. I want you to look, if the sun's over here, I want you to look in this direction so you get that sunlight into your eyes without actually getting like your eyes burnt off. Okay, so that's what you do. What that's going to do is set your circadian rhythm so that you actually wake up energized instead of crashing, right? You get that sunlight into your eyes. What that's going to do is actually tell your body to stop producing melatonin so that you actually are awake and you don't feel like crashing the second after you wake up. What I would say as well is sleep in a cooler room. I make sure that my heat is all the way off. Even in the winter, maybe it's super cold because I'm in Vancouver, Canada, so I do turn it on maybe a little bit, but most of the time I keep the heat all the way off so that my room is pretty damn cold when I am asleep. And what that is going to do is just make me have a nicer, deeper sleep. You're not really going to wake up from being too cold, but you definitely would wake up if you wake up like sweating. So set no temperature on your room. When it comes to actually sleeping, I recommend wearing an eye mask if you feel like if your room is pretty bright. That's cool. You could also have earplugs if you feel like your house is noisy, and you could also actually even use mouth tape so that you're not breathing through your mouth, and you'll have a deeper sleep. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, it works. I used to have the worst sleeps, and this is all tried and true methods that me and I also tell my clients to use, and sleep is huge, so do not underestimate sleep. Please actually implement what I'm saying. So yeah, we went over meal prepping, we went over sleep, so I'll give you guys about 5 to 10 seconds to actually drop a question, and if not, I'm actually going to end this and then post it to YouTube and to my page so that other people can watch the replay. So that's all. I'll give you guys 10 seconds to drop a question. If you guys found this helpful, that's all good. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Let's see. Yeah, but if you found this helpful, thank you for showing up. I appreciate that, and I'll see y'all in the next one.